Good evening and welcome to the Ogden City Council meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present, with the exception of Councilmember Stevens, who is asked to be excused. Before we begin, I would just like to make a couple of notes on the agenda. There's been some changes. Items number 4, the recognition for Idle Free Week, and number 9, new business, the council norms and rules of procedure. We will be pulling those from tonight's agenda and we'll be addressing those at another time. So now we'll turn the time over to Vice Chair Garner for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chair Blair. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce Jacob Toon. We'll have Jacob come up to the microphone. Jacob has joined us tonight from Troop 169 of the Boy Scouts of America and will lead the audience in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I'm just Jacob Toon, and the merit badges I'm working on are camping, cooking, and citizenship in the community. That's what I came here for, just work on that merit badge.
Thank you, Jacob. It's an honor to have you here tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jacob.
Very polite.
Okay. Now we'd ask that you join us in our moment of silence. Thank you. First up is the approval of minutes. First is the regular meeting of October 1st, 2013. Councilmember Gochner.
I have reviewed those and found them to be accurate.
And the work session of October 8th, 2013. Councilmember Heyer.
Yes, I've also reviewed those minutes, found them to be accurate, and would make a motion that we accept those minutes.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from Councilmember Heyer and a second from Councilmember Gochner. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Next up, we have 4 items under common consent. The Records Review Board, the street vacation budget amendment for the Wasatch Worldwide LLC, and the FY 2013 carry forward budget adjustments. If we could.
Chair Blair, I'll make a motion that we accept these 4 items for common consent.
I'll second.
We have a motion to accept the 4 items under common consent from Vice Chair Garner and a second from Councilmember Heyer. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Next up is public hearings. First up are the mid-year fee adjustments.
Laurie Johnson's going to start the discussion, and if there's questions, we have a whole back row anxious to answer.
Good evening. The first public hearing is for ordinance 2013-46, and I'll just quickly review those fees. The first one is to create a field reservation fee for youth and adult soccer leagues, and the proposal is for Mount Ogden fee to access a fee of $15 per hour per field for adult soccer leagues, $3 per participant per season for youth competitive leagues, and a fee of $1 per participant per season for youth rec leagues. And for other city parks and soccer facilities, the proposed fee for adult leagues is the same as Mount Ogden Park at $15. However, there would be no charge for youth competitive or rec leagues. Number 2 would be the change in the cost of 4th Street ballpark banners, and that would be reduced from $400 per banner to $150 per banner. Number 3 would be a $25 per team fee for the American Amateur Baseball Congress of Utah. 4th would be fees for creation of the sand volleyball leagues, and they would be $50 for doubles, $120 for 4s, and $180 for 6s. And last but not least would be the creation of a new program in conjunction with Utah High School All-Star Baseball event, and that would be $100 per player and a fee of $150 for pitchers. And those are all of the fees associated with that ordinance. Secondly, the second public hearing would be for ordinance 2013-47, and these are associated with the golf course. And all of these fees would be effective mid-year, which would be the first part of January 1st. And the first one would be a discount for college students, and they would be have the same discount as seniors, $11 per 9 holes, Monday through Friday. The Family Pass is a new family season pass for up to 2 adults, which is being offered at a rate of $1,350, and additional family members under the age of 17 can be added at $100 per family member. On the Junior Punch Pass, they'll be proposing a rate of $70 for 10 rounds, and then a Summer Junior Pass, which would be proposed for June through August at a rate of $200. Now, there are just a couple of increases on some other fees. One would be the 18-hole rate Monday through Thursday would be increased by $2 from $33 to $35. The 18-hole rate for senior Monday through Thursday would increase as well $2, $29 to $31. The Elmont AM rate would be increased by $1, $7 to $8. And on the junior rate, the rate would stay the same at $8, but would be extended for 7 days a week rather than Monday through Friday. And that's a very quick overview of the fees that are before you tonight.
Okay. Okay. This is a public hearing, so we'll now accept public input on proposed ordinance 2013-46.
Seeing no movement, I'll move that we close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to close the public hearing by Councilmember Heyer and a second from Councilmember Wicks. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And I'll make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-46.
I'll second.
We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-46 by Vice Chair Garner and a second from Councilmember Heyer. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner,
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye. That passes.
And I'll make a motion that we adopt.
Public hearing. We'll accept public hearing also.
Oh, yeah.
Now we'll accept public hearing on proposed ordinance 2013-47.
Seeing no public coming forward, I will make a motion that we close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to close the public hearing by Councilmember Wicks and a second from Councilmember Van Hoosier. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I move that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-47.
Second it.
We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-47 by Councilmember Heyer and a second by Councilmember Van Hoosier. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner,
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye. That passes.
I just wanted to make one quick comment on, I'm just delighted at the new golf rates. I think they better serve our community and certainly reach out to our university. So thanks for all your efforts on those.
Next is reports from the Planning Commission. Mr. Montgomery.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the council. Before you tonight is a consideration of a revision to the zoning ordinance regarding smoke shops. Back in 2012, the state legislature passed a new regulation regarding smoke shops, which defined them and also set separation requirements for smoke shops. What we found is that as people use technology, if they look at the city ordinance and they don't see anything, then they assume it's okay to do it, regardless of what state law says. So we felt it to be appropriate to make an amendment to our ordinance to add the provisions that state law has introduced regarding smoke shops. And so the ordinance you have before you tonight considers a couple items. First of all, it defines what a smoke shop is. And in those definitions, we had taken the items that are in state law and basically brought them over into our own ordinance. Some of that language talks about paraphernalia, drug paraphernalia. I'm not drug paraphernalia. I'm thinking of a different project I'm doing. Smoke, paraphernalia, chewless tobacco, and e-cigarettes. Those fall into the definition of what a smoke shop is. One of the things is we took this item to the Planning Commission regarding this definition that we want you to consider tonight is one addition in language, and that is in that definition of what a smoke shop is, the smoke shop definition is to include language that we have right now that you can have a tobacco product is electronic cigarettes, cigars, cigarettes, and then we talk about tobacco products and include chewing tobacco and their flavoring and additives. And then we talk about tobacco paraphernalia. But the other paraphernalia that happens with e-cigarettes is not added into that language. And we feel it's important that that also be covered, which is the flavoring that takes place, that actual liquid that can be sold to go with the e-cigarettes themselves. And we feel that the intent of this regulation, to clarify it for our purpose in Ogden City, is that this additive is the same as the other paraphernalia that goes with the tobacco. That liquid is just as important to also have it in the definition as it is for the other items that are tobacco related. And so we'd ask for your consideration tonight that while the Planning Commission is recommending the definition that is in the ordinance that you have before you, that we add an item D that also includes the liquid, whether it has nicotine or not, also to be part of that definition of the tobacco business. The other part of the ordinance that is before you that we've also added then is one illustrated by this map. In the state law, when it was developed, it set separation distances of tobacco shops, so they could only be located within no closer than 1,000 feet from any type of school, whether it be public or private, whether it be grade school all the way through tech school. Also, that it could not be within 1,000 feet of a church, a park, a library, a playground, a youth center, an arcade, and that had to at least be 600 feet from another retail tobacco specialty shop or an agricultural zone or residential zone. We took all those standards and developed this map that once you put all those limitations, the areas in red are those areas that then by state law would be allowed to have the retail tobacco businesses located in them. As we discussed this with the Planning Commission, we noted that some of those areas are areas that are manufacturing industrial and don't allow retail sales to begin with. And the feeling is since we don't allow other type of retail businesses there, this type of retail business should also not be located in those manufacturing zones. So once you eliminate those industrial areas, you see what is left are those areas that are in red. The white areas you see on the map are, again, the areas the state law would allow, but once we look at the zoning aspect of it and say we don't allow retail businesses in these manufacturing zones, we take it out. What you have left then are those 3 or 4 areas that would meet the state law requirement and also meet our zoning ordinance requirement of retail being in a retail zone and a commercial zone. So the item that the Planning Commission has forwarded on to you also then looks at each of the zones, the commercial zone, the CBD zone, the manufacturing zones, and then it says these are where this is allowed by definition. So retail tobacco shop can be allowed in the C3 zone, not allowed in the CBD. It wouldn't be allowed anyway, and so we just excluded that completely. And again, taking it out of the industrial zones, except for those areas along 1900 West or 2550, where the manufacturing zone allows retail only along those 2 corridors. So that also is allowing that to take place in those corridors. I know there's a lot of pages of ordinances because, like I said, it's not only the definition section, it's the commercial, the manufacturing, the CBD zone, all those to make clear that the city does not allow these retail tobacco shops except in these specified locations. So there would not be any confusion in the future.
Mr. Montgomery, may I ask a question? Maybe you already answered it in a work session, but just kind of occurred to me, how many smoke shops are already in the locations that are allowed? Any?
We have presently 8 and 2 are in allowed areas.
Okay, now, the 6 that are not in allowed areas, the spacing, is that going to foul up people going into the allowed areas that maybe should be there rather than ones that will have non-conforming use?
No, what we try to take into account in this map is those that are existing and doing the 600-foot radius from those also.
Okay.
So, and I think you bring up a point I need to address. Also in the regulation, and it also comes from state law, is an interesting concept that has been adopted, and that is normally you have a non-conforming right once an ordinance is adopted. And that non-conforming usually says you have 1 year, that if it sits vacant, you don't lose the non-conforming except if it goes over a year. In the state law, the provision is 60 days. And so we've also moved that forward into our ordinance, saying that those 6 businesses, if they sit vacant for more than 60 days, or don't renew their business license and it sits vacant for 60 days, there is no typical non-conforming right. You only got it for 60 days. And so those 6 areas that are now non-conforming would be lost.
I see.
And it'd be, again, these areas that have left.
Thank you.
So the Plan Commission recommendation to you, and they voted unanimously, is to approve this ordinance amendment. And then administration would like to add that item D in the definition language about the e-cigarette liquids to also be included as part of the paraphernalia and the definition of what is a smoke shop, so it'd fall underneath these regulations as far as distance separations. And any other questions you may have about the proposal to you tonight?
Okay, thank you. We will now receive public input on proposed ordinance 2013-50 with the amended language.
Being no activity, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2013-50 with the addition of item D to the language definitions.
I'll second.
We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2013-50 and also including the definitions, item D, or subsection D in the definitions. Is that okay? By Councilmember Gochner, and a second by Councilmember Heyer. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Vice Chair Garner.
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye. That passes. Next up are public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address clearly for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing none. Comments from the mayor.
I do have a few comments. First, I'd like to thank all of you that participated in the Christmas celebration we had on Saturday. I had a number of people come up. The turnout was phenomenal. And I had a number of people come up after and say, it's like the Christmas story when you used to bring everybody downtown and they had all the community that came, and it was a really unique thing, and appreciated all of you that came down to support that. And I want to especially thank Jay and his group that spent 3 months working tirelessly out there in all types of weather conditions. You guys did a great job with that. Police and Fire, I think, did a phenomenal job protecting and securing everything down there. And then Christy McBride, our new events director, I thought for her first go at that, did a phenomenal job organizing and all of that. I think somebody said it's the first you're in a few that it actually started on time, which was, I think, a great organizational effort for her first year to herd all of those cats and to make that happen. I wanted to make mention to a couple of other unique things. Tom sent me a note today from the Business Journals magazine and Ogden City. They did a economic indicator study. They went through, each market was rated in 18 different categories, and they looked at 102 different cities in the United States of America, and Ogden City came out 9th overall, beating out luminaries such as Minneapolis, Boston, Salt Lake, San Francisco, Seattle, Boise, and Portland. So I think that's a great additional piece we can put on our resume and an indicator of the health of what's going on in Ogden City right now. And we'll forward this information and a link to that to Bill so he can send that around for dissemination. But I think that's a great 18 different categories for us to come up that high is, I think, a great testament to the teamwork and vision everybody's brought to this. And then I'd like to publicly express condolences to Mrs. Moore and to Mayor Steve Curtis's family, two great community advocates we lost in the last, I think, 10 days, and I'd like to publicly express our support and condolences to them. So thank you.
Comments from council members? I would just echo the mayor's comments about the parade. It was a great turnout, and I appreciate all those who were involved in making it go. And I don't know who was in charge of the weather, but they did an outstanding job. It was perfect for a parade. So
I think Jay was.
yeah,
Jay was
we'll give
in
Jay
charge.
the credit.
I'll just add, I love warm Christmas parades, and just wanted to recognize Councilmember-elect Marcia White, who's here with us tonight. We're excited to have you join us.
And also echoing everything, but Jay, thank you. I've had several people calling me about the decorations and how phenomenal it is, and especially the big blue tree that's out there. And I understand many of the trees now have LED lights, and we're moving forward on that, so thank you.
Jeff's parents said it was better than anything in Salt Lake. So,
I'd just quickly add, we encourage everybody to shop downtown so we can pay for it again next year. So.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Vice Chair Garner. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
As a reminder, a city council work session will be held following the regular council meeting. The purpose of the work session is to review and or discuss the following: open meetings and conflicts of interest training,
Sorry on that.
the FY 2014 through 18 first quarter CIP report, FY 2014 first quarter financial report, FY 2013 carry forward budget adjustments, budget amendments, Worldwide LLC, the ramp tax projects, and other council business.